hopefuls promoted differing agendas on the economy and other pressing issues.
A Georgia judge dismissed a lawsuit filed by Republicans on Saturday, which sought to prevent counties from opening election offices over the weekend to allow in-person hand delivery of mail ballots.
The lawsuit specifically targeted Fulton County.
The FBI announced it is aware of 2 fabricated videos circulating online that claim to be linked to the agency and the 2024 election.
According to the FBI, the first video falsely alleges that the agency detained 3 groups involved in ballot fraud.
The restaurant chain TGI Fridays filed for bankruptcy protection on Saturday, stating that it is actively pursuing ways to ensure the long-term viability of its brand following the closure of numerous locations.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statements.
Yeah, my opinion is dump StreamYard.
Checking
That's what
and
it is.
corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Coffee for you. Tuesday, boy.
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we got, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
You son of a... It'd be better... What's better than son of a... You don't hear any audio? You don't hear the music, Steven? No? Is that Steven? Just because Steven's got problems doesn't mean everybody has problems. Sending me private messages. Listen, I'll come to fucking Indiana and cut your fucking balls off and stick them down your throat, you fucking pain in my dick. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, November 4th, 2024. Beautiful day. In the neighborhood. Anyway, it's time to jump StreamYard. It really is. I'm going to look for an alternative. I might even try to do it myself with a little extra programming in OBS or something like that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We have an interesting show today. We have 2 authors scheduled for today. I think GD might have a hand in this. It's possible. Our first guest in a few minutes will be Bob Gaddy, who is the author of a new book, Hijack Nation, about what else? About Donald Trump, his first presidency, his campaign now, all the stuff that we probably, unless you're like a MAGA imbecile, and there are a lot of those, you know and accept. And then in hour 2, we have Greg Bennick with a hard K, CK, Bennick, who is author of a book about getting things done now, getting distractions out of the way. Like, you know what? Talk to me about getting distractions out of the way on January 21st, if I'm still alive. Until then, there is no way I am getting distractions out of the way. I'm going to be, if I had nails, I would bite them off. If I had hair, I would pull it out. But I don't. Anyway, just want to remind people of something because, you know, my friend Sherry Jacobus is always reminding me of things that we forget about. And I know it's a little late. A lot of people have already voted. I'm going to vote tomorrow and expect there to be no line because the lines have been around the block here for weeks now. But this little tidbit, just to keep in the back of your mind. On January 31st, 2019, Donald Trump had a private meeting with Vladimir, well, you can call him Valerie, Putin. Sometimes he likes to be called Valerie, but that's generally when he has private meetings with Lindsey Graham. But that's a whole other story. He had a private meeting with Vladimir Putin, and then 3 days after that private meeting, Donald Trump asked for a list of all the intelligence officers working in CIA and spies. And then shortly afterwards, the CIA said crazy number of spies are being captured and killed. Isn't that strange? And then when the raid at Mar-a-Lago happened, those documents were the list of spies that Trump obviously handed to Putin was left on top of the documents in the bathroom. It was in the bathroom, yes, where you keep all your classified shit. I know that's where I keep mine. And just seemed to be recently read again. So, or, messed with, because it was one of the few documents that were outside. Basically, don't tell me Donald Trump loves America. He essentially, he did virtually, literally handed over a bunch of United States intelligence agents to be murdered or captured by the enemy. Just keep that in the back of your mind while you're also noting that very few people, there's been almost complete media silence on the 100 hours of Epstein recordings with Michael Wolff, discussing how Donald Trump was his best friend, discussing that when Trump first met Melania, was with Jeffrey Epstein with a troop of young girls, underage girls, topless girls sitting on his lap. That's the kind of guy you want. This is a family values guy. I know it's late. I know you've already cast your vote. I know you refuse to believe the truth. But this is the America we're going to get, and I think it's the America we deserve. So anyway, it's time for commercials. Then we'll meet the guys from the dog pound. By the way, Robbie Roadsteamer is either somehow related to Ron Kane, or it might be Ron Kane in disguise. But I love this guy. If you don't know Robbie Roadsteamer, follow him on Twitch. He's just he's a troublemaker for MAGA, and who doesn't love a troublemaker for MAGA? Anyway, so I want to tell you about Daily High Club because I still have not gotten around to redoing the Opus clips. All the links are in the description. By the way, patronize all our sponsors. Mind Bloom, Opus clips, even Funwise Capital. If you need dough, get you a good time to take a loan before the world just blows up. Anyway, what'd they do with my Daily High Club commercial? These bastards, they hid my commercial. Here it is.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
All right. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, almost kind of, sort of. In the room with me now are Robbie Roadsteamer, a.k.a. Ron Kane, Stephen the Poor, Pitiful Me sitcom Ortiz, and my worst enemy of the last 100 years, Gigi Fenner. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. If you need a ride to vote tomorrow, you can call us at Coffee with the Dog, and we will transport you to a polling place. We can only hope that it's yours. We can't be driving all over creation. Besides, you knew this day was coming, and your plan was to what? Wait for us? Man, maybe you shouldn't be voting. MindDogTV.com.
Wow.
Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the
Yeah,
suffering.
that too. Yeah. Oh, what's going on there? Things are happening in the background I was not aware of. What was that crazy noise? Was that a sound effect or somebody just smashing a desk? What was that? Boom, boom.
I just heard it again.
Yeah, you just didn't you do it? No,
it doesn't matter. It's all election eve. You have to be ready for the election. You got to be able to just take it. Like that.
Oh boy. Well, yeah, there's that.
You know, I was really hoping I was going to be able to die without being able to say I saw Trump jerking off a giant dick, and now I can't do that. Ron, thank you.
Well, consider this: that if he does lose the election, which I am predicting he won't, I'm predicting Donald Trump is a 100% lock to win the election tomorrow. That's my prediction. And you know
just
how
because you're a Mets fan and you know how you're rooting for the Mets work, so you're just don't do that.
If you followed me on Facebook during the World Series nightly, I was giving the New York Yankees a 100% lock. So that's all.
No, when I was
anyway,
when
let me finish the thought, please. Let me finish my thought. Thank you. If he wins, if he loses, that technique will come in very handy in prison. That's all I'm saying. They should play that video on the prison, all the prison televisions, and then he'll become he'll have a smooth ride for the rest of his life. Now, I finished my thought. Would you like to say something, you lumpy bastard, troublemaking?
No, you geriatric fuck. I forgot what I was going to say. Back to you.
Say that. All right. What's the full context of Trump blowing the mic clip? Full context? The mic was off, and he decided anybody who was quiet, he likes to blow. Right? Is that it?
Accurate. I've seen it.
Yeah, between Arnold Palmer and this and everything. I mean,
now
just line him up and make his mouth like all-you-can-eat buffet where people just fucking empty into it.
I'm glad.
Thank
you. You.
What does Donald Trump and the United States Navy have in common? They're both full of semen. Anyway.
Nah, that don't even work. I was going to give you a B, but no B's for you.
No, don't be that. That wasn't worth it. It sounded better in my head.
No B for you.
No B.
Listen, it sounded better in my head.
It's a coincidence that Robbie Roadsteamer and Ron Kane basically use the same exact terminology when describing the cock gobbling of the GOP. I don't know. I think have anybody seen Ron and Robbie Roadsteamer in the same place at the same time?
Not only have I not seen them in the same place at the same time, but this all tracks really well because ever since Grindr went down at the RNC, okay, ever since then, the Republicans have been extra grumpy. And so this all tracks and makes sense. They're all not getting enough cock and they all want more. So it makes perfect sense.
All right. Yeah.
I really wish I knew what y'all was talking about. I must have missed that meeting.
You were there. It was like episode 680. It was we talked about it. Grindr went down because everybody.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the same time. I don't know who this guy is.
Well, let me introduce you to Robbie Roadsteamer.
You guys seen any interesting protests today? You might remember me. I'm the Q-shaming guy. I stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and I made poopies at Nancy Pelosi's desk. But I've changed. And if I could change, you could change. Everybody could change. All right? I'm tired of MAGA and the Democrats against each other. It's time we have raw dog sex again, and we forget about being angry at people for wearing masks. We don't need to be angry at people anymore for LGBT. We can just have great sex. MAGA, woke, everybody together. I have a dream.
That's what that's Robbie Rose.
Holy shit! Yeah,
he's been everywhere. I mean, he went to Steve Bannon's press conference and he did an insurrection on Steve Bannon's, and he was talking about cock gobbling and all, and it just sounded like Ron Kane on a typical morning show. Same language, same context, all of it. And I'm just thinking,
maybe they have the same mentor. You know, the comedians do that too. You know, if you have like 3 or 4 comedians who studied under one particular comedian under their tutelage, their style is the same, is pretty or similar. Even if they're not exactly the same, they're similar because they've had the same tutelage.
All right. Ron has been very quiet in his own defense of this, so I'm just going to assume guilt, and we'll move on. Before we get to our first guest, GD, did you have a hand in scheduling this guest somehow today?
I had a hand in the sense that he and I have a mutual compadre in the fight against insanity.
Okay.
And so he was referred to me by them, and then I referred him to you by us and they, and
I spent 2 hours yesterday digging through my emails because I know you sent me a PDF for him.
I sent it to everybody.
And no wonder I couldn't find it. I was looking just up from you. It was like a group message, right?
Right. I was lazy, and I thought if I sent it to everybody at once, then it would be like one of those things you'd be like, who's fucking texted me at 2 a.m? And then you'd read it. But apparently
it does sound like a weird press tour, though. Helping hand, 2 men sharing 1 bottle of lotion. Helping hand.
All right.
Reminds me of high school.
That's true. Can I just gripe a rant about something? I know I usually rant without you guys in the room, but
Oh man, now you're gonna do it with us in the room. Okay, Louis, go ahead.
Suffolk County Police Department, Suffolk County, New York, not Massachusetts.
Okay.
The lamest fucking for one accident, a car accident that one person was seriously injured and nobody died, shut down all of Long Island. 7 million people could not move for 6 hours on Saturday evening. And nobody's being held accountable. It was on the news, made all the news like, oh yeah, all the roads are shut down for one car accident. Somebody was seriously injured. Let's shut down everything like there was a terrorist attack. And then I trying to find out what's going on. I turn on my radio to get a traffic report, and all my radio stations are in Spanish. Everyone, AM and FM, nobody's speaking English. And I'm thinking, what the fuck happened?
Why didn't you turn the captions on?
Well, I say, why didn't you turn off the SAP on your radio? Come on.
That wasn't what happened. Man. Anyway, turned out it was just a singular accident. I think it was 2 cars involved. One went off into the woods, so that's no reason to shut down the highway there.
Well, because you need a truck with a winch to pull it out, and they got to be turned like perpendicular to the highway so they can.
Yeah, but if it went off, see, there's a service road, so you shut down the service road to deal with and pull that car off. They shut down Sunrise Highway, which runs the length of Long Island, the Long Island Expressway, the Southern State Parkway, all north and south roads. Like you could not get anywhere. Meanwhile, I was talking to you when you heard when it started. I said, "Oh my God!"
Right? Yeah.
You heard. You were on the phone, and I said, "Oh, they're closing off the road." And then from there on, I was supposed to be at a gig. I usually get there to set up at 6 o'clock. The gig starts at 7. I walked in the door at 8:30 to the best applause I've ever had in my life. The crowd was like waiting for me. They were ready for the show to start at 7:30.
Now, does that make you want to just show up late to every?
No, I hate that. It's pressure.
But if that's the best applause you've ever gotten, and that's the reason why you do it.
But
For
yeah, the applause was funny when I walked through the door. They were but then I have to set up and I have to get my equipment working in like 30 seconds with 300 people fucking waiting anxiously, and to me that's just fucking pressure, man. That's when
you could have had a comedian open up for you, maybe do a set of.
Mikey was doing his best for an hour and a half and bombing by that time.
I said a comedian. I did say comedian, right? Did y'all hear me say comedian, not Mikey? Y'all heard,
he did.
Ron,
He didn't even say humorist. He said comedian. He was basically saying he should have called Ron.
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, they weren't a cock gobbling type of audience.
Oh, but you should have called me then.
No, they weren't. They weren't friendly to people like you either. People like you.
Whoa! First of all, old white people love me. Rednecks love me. Black people love me.
No, I represent all those groups. I'm the lawyer for all those groups, and I
you're
say
not.
no.
You're not Jewish. Don't lie to me.
I think I am. Ask anybody.
No, you just no. You're Jewish appearing. You're Jewish by appearance only.
You want to taste my circumcision?
I do not, but you know what? I'm also circumcised. I'm not Jewish either. So, what's your point?
Right. Just so you know, Matt, the issue that you were having with the music, not here. Who was it that wasn't hearing the music? Steven?
It was me, but it was StreamYard. Once I refreshed the screen, it came back.
Right. Because at Govs, the people at Govs said they couldn't hear the music. They could just hear a delirious or delusional old man.
That's what I was hearing. It was just Matt going, "Yep."
No.
Laugh. Make
no,
you laugh.
you're not.
But I did defend you, Matt. I did defend you.
Where are you following this on Govs? I'm not believing this story.
Well,
I don't even think you know where to follow it on Govs.
Here's the deal. If you,
I don't.
I'm going to show you right there. Okay, if you can see this.
No, we can't.
You can see my phone.
Yeah, that's
you
me.
See at the top, there's a picture view.
No,
that's Gov's site. Right beneath there, see that the picture, the still of Bob Gaddy.
Yes.
And Greg,
right.
the DJP.
Yeah, sure.
That's if I push on that, that'll be us on MindDog TV. If I push on that, that'll be Gov's site.
Is anybody believing him?
Yeah.
I think the blur up in the left-hand corner there is totally on board with what you said.
So that's it. So
there
you go.
Want to say now? Have you know Bob Gaddy, right? You know him, or have you met?
Bob and I we used to be drinking buddies before we both joined AA.
All right.
And then we continue to be drinking buddies. We just stopped drinking juice.
All right.
Just straight up gin.
All right.
Juice.
Bob Gaddy is the author of a new book, Hijack Nation, Donald Trump's Attack on America's Greatness. It recaps Trump's first term in 2020 election and the aftermath and 2024 race, all the things that are giving me anxiety and stress. Good morning, Bob Gaddy.
Hey, guys. You guys are cracking me up, I got to tell you.
I'm sorry about that. It won't happen again.
Good to see you again, Bob. Good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. Hey, you know what? I want to tell you, Matt, I keep my classified shit in the bathroom, too. I just want you to know that.
Yeah. Thank you. So, Bob, you wrote this book just to piss people off, like about. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're ugly,
man.
and I'm reminding you of how ugly you are. I don't know.
It was a joint effort. It was him and CJ, but another good friend of mine, CJ. We also go way back.
Yeah. Do you offer any hope in these books? Now, I have for the people who don't know, I have two links there in the description. They're separated for some reason in the scroll. It's the Amazon link, and then there's a link to nofakenews.biz, which you are not listed as one of the writers for nofakenews.biz, although you are on the page, the landing page, and it's about your book. Just want to say that. But do you offer any solutions on this problem that we call Trump?
Yeah, vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
that's the solution. I'm telling you what, this this enterprise, Hijack Nation, came about because we decided that the blogs that we write on our website, which is now called leantotheleft.net. It's no longer called Not Fake News.
Oh.
We decided that we just needed to share them to a wider audience, and so we selected out a bunch of the major ones that tell a story, really, of what happened since the insurrection, and going up to really the last couple weeks, and so we did, and that's what Hijack Nation. It's a sequel to a 2-volume book that we did in 2020, which tracked from 2016 and through the pandemic. We published that book in 2020, so we wanted to catch up and kind of tell the story since then, and
Right.
so that's what we did.
Here's my issue. People who need to read this book don't read. People who read probably are 100% in agreement with just from the cover on. We just, so it's kind of preaching to the choir, because nobody who needs to read this book is going to pick it up. They're going to be in complete denial. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%. I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and not by choice. I have to tell you that. But I have family here, and my wife wanted to retire, so we did. But I'm from Maryland, and I worked on Capitol Hill for a number of years and had a communications business after that. And it just blew my mind when Trump began to call the media the enemy of the people. And I decided, after retiring and moving here, being a writer, having something to say, I decided, screw it. I'm going to do a daily blog. It's going to be called Not Fake News, and we're going to tear Trump to smithereens every chance we get. And so we did that, and then I don't know, around 3 years ago, I guess it was, I decided, hey, Not Fake News needs to have a new name. It needs to be called Lean to the Left, because we need to tell people exactly what we do. I don't want people who are hard ass Trumpers to come on there and then start bitching at me.
Yeah.
And and even today, I got to tell you, I mean, I had some Harris yard signs stolen from the front of my house, and they ripped off my Harris flag. They just ripped the fucker right off the side of my house. And I went on this local app and complained about it. And all these Trumpers came on and said, "Oh, too bad. Oh, he lost his signs. Oh, man. Oh, that's just terrible." But that's the atmosphere that I live in here in South Carolina.
Same here in Long Island, New York. I mean, at least Suffolk County. I'm not sure if Nassau County is the same. I imagine it is, but it is very red hat country here, and
it's very much the same. Very much the same here. And what's funny is I was kind of paying attention to it being out and about yesterday, because I was all over northern Indiana. And all the Harris supporters have the little signs, just the little Harris Waltz sign in their front yards. But all the Trump guys have these massive flags, and their fences are covered from fucking edge to edge of the property. And they got, it's spray painted on their siding of their house. It's like, what is happening? It's hilarious.
Yeah, well, here I live in this neighborhood that's it's like a regular suburban neighborhood. It's a couple miles from the beach. Where I live, you'd never even know I was near the beach. But anyhow, I'm surrounded by these people. There's a guy down the street that had a Trump flag out when he lost, and the day after the election, his flag went half-mast. That just cracked me up. And this time, he hasn't had a sign out. He hasn't had a flag out. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this.
Maybe it's a new owner. Maybe it's a new resident.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because I see he's got the same pickup trucks out in front of his house
Well,
as he always does.
I wanted to ask you about the solution that you mentioned, because I'll come back to that. But since you talked about the sign stuff, Saturday night when I got home from that disaster gig that took me forever to get to, turned on Twitter, and my Twitter feed was flooded with people saying, and I don't know if they were hallucinating or what, they were saying that people en masse were throwing their Trump flags in the garbage, burning their Trump flags, ripping bumper stickers off their own cars. Something happened Saturday night, and I was like, I don't believe this. And it was just like hundreds of people on Twitter. And then I went to YouTube, and Midas Touch was doing a story about it's finally happening. People are abandoning Trump en masse. They're burning their Trump flags. And I was like, what the I'm not hearing any of this. I'm not seeing any of this. It's like, are these people delusional? Are they all hallucinating? Or did one or two cases get blown out of proportion? But my wife made the observation that we're not seeing the kind of flags out that at this time of year. So it's like you see more Halloween decorations than political flags generally, or stuff on people's lawn signs. Yeah. You're not seeing any of that stuff as much, but we still see the people out with the red hats. But I'm not sure if that's a real thing or what. The idea of people,
that's the case here. I mean, last time around, they were all over the place. The Trumpers, the Trump signs, the banners, the flags, everything. Along the side of the road, there'd be people setting up with flags, waving people down and everything. Trumpers. You don't see that at all now.
Right.
At all. Matter of fact, I saw one Trump bumper sticker yesterday, and that's the first one I've seen.
Wow. And that was on GD's ass.
This is freaking South Carolina, man. I mean, wow.
I live in Maryland and Carroll County, which is yes.
I lived in Carroll County before moving here.
What part of Carroll County? Well, I'm in Westminster.
Sykesville.
Okay, not too far from me.
Yeah.
So the number of Trump supporters has not diminished, and neither has their zeal. Around, at least around here. Now in my neighborhood proper, there are no Trump signs in my neighborhood. Matter of fact, when we moved here, the October before the last presidential election, so 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we decided on this neighborhood because of one of the amount of property we got with our house, but also there were no political signs, and we thought, great, it's October, and there are no signs supporting anybody, and that was like, we're home. This is it.
Thanks for leading the segue there, because you said the zeal has not diminished at all, and this is my with your solution, just vote for Harris. Let's take best case scenario. She wins, and she wins decidedly. The cognitive dissonance that his cult is under does not go away, and so I'm not sure that that's enough of a solution. I mean, that heals the impending. It stops the bullet.
When you say best case scenario, did she also win like a supermajority in the Senate?
Yeah. Enough of a majority, and she wins the House and maintains the equilibrium of the Senate where it is now, where the Vice President of the United States, who is the President of the Senate, is the deciding vote in those cases. That's, I think, is probably best case scenario. I mean, if you're dreaming, yeah, sure, they win a 67% majority of the Senate.
67 votes. Yeah, 66
if you want to. If you want to like fantasize,
but you said best case. I just want to know. That's my best case. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, so the cognitive dissonance doesn't go away. Like the other day, I posted on Facebook about how delusional one party is, and that they believe the Democrats are controlling the weather, and kids are getting gender reassignment in school, and all these crazy things they believe in. One of the Trumpers went and found an article that said, crop cloud seeding is real, so people can control the weather. In that same article, it said nobody is able to steer hurricanes in any direction. Let's exclude all the point of it and just say, see, Democrats could control the weather because cloud seeding happened. It's like droughts still happen too, so we're not really able to control the weather. But this idea of they're going to continue to believe in the most absurd things no matter what. I think even best case scenario, or closest to best case scenario, best case hopeful scenario, is I don't think anything changes as far as where we are as a people and trying to deal with that. Santa Claus doesn't exist. The Easter Bunny is a made up thing.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Whoa.
You watch your mouth.
Yeah, man, I'm afraid you're right.
Yeah.
Bitch, the Easter Bunny isn't real?
I know. You stop that, Matt. You stop that.
I'm sorry. Well, they should name him Peanut, and then the New York City mayor will have him shot.
That's true. You're probably right. Yeah. Anyways, back to you, Matt.
Yeah. All right, but that part of it, I don't think we're going to. I think what we're going to be dealing with is decades, and thank God I'm not going to be alive, but decades and decades of this just like division growing between reality. And this is a problem. We can't share a common reality. There is no way we can solve our problems or even address them with compromise in mind, because we can't agree on whether it's day or night, whether it's winter or summer, any of these things. Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's just my feeling that this is going to continue. I think you're right. I think it'll ease if, to some extent, if Harris should win by a sizable margin. If she wins and it's narrow, we're in for all hell breaking loose, in my opinion. I've had a lot of guests on my show, my leantoleft.net podcast, and talking about the possibility of another of Civil War Part 2. And I don't know if I buy into that there could actually be a shooting war among people, but I think that the seeds are there.
Yeah.
And it just depends on what comes down Tuesday night, I think.
Yeah, well, part of it.
But honestly, wouldn't a civil war be stopped in like a week or two? Because really, all you have to do is cut off the supply of daily maintenance medicine, from insulin to high blood pressure medicine. That civil war wraps up in, I don't know, like 30 days.
I'm pretty sure every war we've ever gotten involved in, that was this is going to be, and it happened once in Gulf War I, where it was over in a couple of days. But they always sell it that way. Yeah, this is going to be.
Are you telling me that in South Carolina, after some militia is going to form after they've just been drinking sweet tea day after day, year after year, you ain't running anywhere?
No, but I think if we cut off shit from the land, that anyone that's against the U.S. is gonna be like, oh shit, half the U.S. is like saying, nope, I'm done. I'm gonna help out. Here comes Cuba. Here comes fucking Argentina. Here comes fucking China and Zimbabwe and any other country that hates us. Most of them. And
I think Ron has a valid point. If you take away their insulin and their high blood pressure medicine, and hell, even take away their Viagra, they won't function for more than a few days.
Well, the death blow would be NASCAR. Get rid of that too.
Well, Project 2025, they want to get rid of your contraception.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this, because.
Well, most contraception is, at least around here, contraception is voting for Trump. So
how do they with their daughters without Plan B around? Jeez.
Oh,
have you gotten that out of your system? Is that out of your system now? You're okay. All right. There are people, CNN has, and even MSNBC, traditionally left or thought of as MSNBC far more than CNN, leftist media outlets. I think they have a vested interest in keeping Trump around. Trump is a profit machine. And now where I'm going here, it might be a little uncomfortable with you. If Trump wins, your book sales go up. If Trump loses, the book goes kind of on the dusty shelf in the back of the book.
I agree with you 100%. I really do.
So you're rooting against your own. You're kind of like a MAGA person. You're voting against your own interest here.
I don't really. I mean, I care. I want people to buy the book. Of course I do. And by the way, you got the old cover up there. You don't have the new one.
I went to Amazon to get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I made a mistake. Well, the publisher made a mistake. They posted it on Amazon for me, and they did not distinguish between my old book and my new book, even though it's got the same title, because it's a sequel. And so now, if you just Google for Hijack Nation, that's what you get. If you use the link you're kindly showing there, you
see, that's the problem. I could not find the PDF that GD sent me like 7 years ago when he.
Anyway, listen, I'm so grateful that you're having me on and that you're helping me promote this thing. And I just am very grateful. So
yeah, you got like probably 3 days before all the votes are counted to get the book and read it.
Yeah, that's right. No, I know if Trump wins, there is a shelf life for that thing. If Kamala wins, who I voted for, and my wife voted for, and my neighbor voted for, and my dog Boomer voted for. Well, I shouldn't say that because now they'll say that South Carolina has voter fraud.
What kind of dog?
Boomer? Boomer is a lab mix, a yellow lab mix.
One of my best friends had a dog named Boomer, and we used to call him Boomer because he named his dog Boomer.
Do you feel that most people though are just sick of hearing about him?
Oh, I do. Absolutely.
On either side. It doesn't matter if you're on his side or not.
Absolutely. That's why my next book is a novel.
Well, when you say most, I would say probably a majority of people, but there are, I would say probably 35% of America that is not sick of hearing them. They still can't get enough of them. I have a friend he still watches every rally that is brought from start to finish, watches every minute of every rally, and is delusional to the point where, wow, look how many people are there. Meanwhile, the cameras are spanning the place and it's fucking empty and people are walking out, but he's still under the, again, this is the cognitive dissonance thing where they can't see an empty arena as an empty arena to them because the dictator or the emperor is saying the emperor is empty arena. He's not naked. The arena is not empty. It's full of people.
Did you see that? Did you see that video that was floating around yesterday from a Trump rally where he's just speaking and he's talking about the crowds? And the cameraman actually starts panning.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, but my friend will tell you, "Wow, did you see all those people there? I saw all those people who weren't there."
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. On Twitter, I'm sorry, Mulan X on X.
No, it's Twitter. You're right. You're right. You are absolutely right.
Last night I was looking, and people were saying how that Trump rally, was sparsely attended, to say the least. And so some Trumpers came on and they had this picture of this massive, massive, massive crowd and claiming that was the crowd. The only problem was that massive crowd was from Washington, D.C. And I think it was probably, I don't know if it was Obama's speech when he was sworn in or what event it was, but it was a massive, massive crowd. But you could tell it was Washington, D.C. Now, the event was held, the Trump event that they were talking about was held in a field in North Carolina. So, I mean, come on. If you're going to show a fake crowd, at least in another fucking field, right?
Right.
Now, in their defense, do they have like a duplicate Washington? Like in Baltimore, we have a Mount Vernon. And if you go there, there's like a mini Mount Vernon. There's like a Washington statue thing, So it's like, could they have like their version of an Epcot thing where or Vegas, where you have like these fake seat things, like a mock Eiffel Tower, stuff like that. Their own little DC, so they could practice storming the Capitol, basically.
Well,
we don't have that in South Carolina.
I have been asked to go to Kansas to see Noah's Ark, so
to go. You said Kansas?
Kansas. Noah's Ark is in Kansas. Don't you know that?
The original,
the Ark
or is this?
exhibit?
Is this his prototype? Is this the one that didn't work?
Well, some people think it's the real one, rebuilt, reassembled, whatever.
Wait, that's
Wait.
oh. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the Ark exhibit. So you're talking about the real Ark reassembled?
The real Noah's
Yes,
Ark,
in Kansas.
right?
This is it's like
okay. So that's not.
It hurts me to think about. I'm sorry I brought it up.
So it's not too far from it's not too far from Joseph Smith's golden plates in Utah. Then, so
Right.
yeah, dude, you're in the world of miracles, man. Have fun.
Right.
Maybe you'll find your hair.
So we speculated a little bit about what I thought might be best case scenario, best possible, not impossible scenario, worst case scenario. Now, there's a couple of things that could go really bad here. Now, let's say he loses the popular vote, but the electors in some of these swing states just refuse to go with the popular vote of their state and vote for him anyway, and he wins, or he flat out wins. He gets into office, and his first order of duty, according to a couple of publications, is to pardon himself. Do you think there is equal possibility of civil war over something like that? Because that would outrage me enough to risk my life to go ballistic. He wins by illicit means. He takes power and then pardons himself immediately. It'd be like, this is unacceptable to me.
That's just an impossible thing to contemplate. Wow. I mean, I just don't know. Whether the whether Harris supporters would I don't think they would. I
tend to think most of them wouldn't, because the left is generally, political violence is never acceptable, and I get that, but never is a tough word.
Yeah,
I mean,
not everybody who voted for Harris is let's say violence neutral. I mean, violence abhor. I believe that there's a time and a place for all things under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So if necessary.
Yeah. Like in that situation, what is it any different from Donald Trump doing that than Vladimir Putin just coming in and then taking over? I mean, basically, it's the same thing. It's somebody basically just a coup in our country, and can we accept that?
Unless Biden exercises that power, which could happen.
I was gonna say, isn't there a possibility that Biden just goes, okay, cool, National Guard, go wipe them out. We're not dealing with it.
Part of that is
he wouldn't send a National Guard. He wouldn't send a National Guard. Maybe SEAL Team 6.
Well, if they're attempting a real coup, and there's a massive crowd that's attempting to take over the Capitol, I mean, what other choice would you have but to send in troops? I mean, that's no different.
Well, the first thing you do, then the first thing you do is that because Trump would be leading a coup, is you remove his citizenship, because that is grounds for losing your citizenship. And once he no longer has a citizenship, he cannot be president. Period. You have to be a U.S. citizen to be president.
Right. But let's say January 6th failed, but they saw how much they struggled with that size of a crowd, and they go, cool, let's triple it. And now they show up to the Capitol with 100,000 people.
Trump still cannot.
I feel like we're going around in circles with the thing, because for weeks we've been talking, and GD is of the idea that Joe Biden is a institutional man.
He is an institutional.
Would he first of all give that order? Now that's some conjecture there. Would he give the order? But then would they carry out the order? Again, you could say SEAL Team 6. Do your job.
That's what I'm saying. As an institutionalist, he wouldn't have to implement SEAL Team 6. What I'm saying is, because Trump will be leading a coup, him and Vance, they could be stripped of their citizenship. They cannot be president. They cannot take office. They cannot be sworn in because they are no longer citizens.
I don't see Vance taking part in it.
Any thoughts on all of this, Bob? I mean,
I'll tell you what. I'm worried that with Vance, if Trump wins, Vance is the next president, probably before the end of Trump's term.
Really?
Before Trump finishes his speech.
That scares the living crap out of me. That guy's crazy.
Well, let me just, and now I'm not a religious person, but people have been throwing around Antichrist for 8 years now. And I don't think it's Trump. I think it's Peter Thiel. If anybody fits the description, it's Peter Thiel. And Vance being taken over for Trump is really Peter Thiel taking over America.
Yeah, I interviewed a guy the other day on my Lean to the Left podcast that talked about that, and believes that there is a really good chance that that could happen, that Vance could end up being the president, and I just think that's a horribly scary thought, especially for women. Oh my God.
Right.
That's why, by the way, that's why I think that Harris has a real shot because of the female vote. But it surprised me. It surprises me when I see women who are still aggressively supporting Donald Trump at his rallies and on this local app I was telling you about people stealing my signs. These women came on, a couple women came on, and said, I said, why would you ever support somebody who wants to control your body? And they said, how is he trying to control my body? What? Where have you been?
Yeah.
Come on.
I read an interesting article this morning on that, and this guy was making a case that the women who are in support of a patriarchal type of dictator simply want to go back to the time when women did not have to work. They could stay home and be housekeepers, and the man goes off to work and makes the money. That's what is driving the Republican suburban white women vote.
They want to go back to the 1950s.
Right. Yeah.
Which is impossible because in today's economy, who can fucking do that anyway?
Well, that's exactly right. And that's the same thing with this immigration crap about Trump wanting to deport all these illegals. And even people who are probably not illegal, he wants to deport them. If you speak Spanish, you better not take Spanish in school, people, because he might think you're an immigrant and kick you out.
Right.
Holy shit. That's just incredible. But what I was going to say was that he would fuck up the economy so bad with that. Think of all the jobs that are predominantly held by Spanish-speaking people, whether they're immigrants or whether they're whether they have whether they're documented or whatever. I know that in Maryland, for example, the crab industry is huge.
Yes.
Most of the people that pick those crabs are Hispanic.
Right.
Immigrants.
They tried hiring people to do that who were, let's call them white Americans.
Yeah, right.
And it was disastrous. They couldn't do because they were showing how they were even trying to train them how to to do the shrimp. Just shrimp. Like pop the heads with the thumb and I have a surefire way to guarantee that Kamala Harris will win the popular vote and the electoral college, and it would only take Stephen, what is the most popular game for men to play online
at the moment? Call of Duty.
Okay, so tomorrow we will announce that Call of Duty, the newest version, is coming out online, but you have to be home on your computer on your phone to get it, okay? And it's going to be free. So all of those bros are not going to go vote. The ones who haven't voted are not going to vote. They're going to stay home and wait for the new Call of Duty, okay? Because they have to be in line. It's like the new iPhone. They have to be at home,
yeah, pretty much.
So that they can get their free Call of Duty, the new version, the new
That's
with no
$70 saved. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Not going to show up, and that's it. We start. Matter of fact, Steven, you start working on that right now. We will post it tonight at midnight.
Hey, I want to know what you guys think about Trump's ride in the garbage truck.
Well, I have been a garbage man when in my youth, and I said this first of all. The garbage collectors don't ride in the cab. First of all, he couldn't open the door, which he would look like a drunk trying to get out of the bar at 3 o'clock in the morning.
He couldn't even get up the step.
But the garbage collectors don't ride in the cab. They ride. They hold on the back of the truck, and in all weather, it wouldn't be a blizzard out. They're still, and they don't wear a vest. They don't wear a tie. Some people say, "Oh, well, here they wear a vest." I was like, "Well, take a picture. Show me a picture of these guys who are wearing a protective vest in the garbage."
I am not the first to say this, but I'm going to put it this way: that is a true picture of the difference between Trump's campaign and what he offers for the future and Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris is opening doors for people and Trump cannot open doors.
Oh, very good. Like it.
That was good.
Yeah.
Do you also feel though that there is I'm guessing almost a fairly large contingent of people on the Trump side that once they get behind the curtain, they actually are not going to vote for Trump at all?
You know, that could be.
I think that's possible, but I think it's mostly women that would think that way. But yeah, I agree with you.
Well, even guys, because there's throughout online and stuff, you can see there is actually a lot of chatter from like dads that are like, I ain't fucking voting for this guy because like I got daughters and shit. I'm worried. And
you know, it's funny you brought that up. I had a discussion yesterday with somebody who's gotten in my face about Donald Trump, and in the last 2 weeks or so, he started posting things about how he's fearful for the future of his daughter's freedom and her ability to, like, he's like, you know, what if she gets raped in high school and this Project 2025 thing's in place and now she can't get it taken care of,
right?
You know, or things like that. And he started freaking out, and we had this discussion, and he goes, honestly, he goes, I'm not voting for the man. He goes, but if anyone I know found out, he goes, I would be cut out from everybody. Yeah. Like he is, it's for him. He even said it's almost like he's gay and he's afraid to come out because he's going to get disowned by everybody.
I'm wondering.
That's how he phrased it.
I'm wondering if this was his way of. I'm wondering if this way of telling you that part of it, and not really.
My thing is
something in politics. Just you know, you look kind of cute in that chair.
I mean, maybe. The point is, though, I do think there's going to be a good number of people who are going to vote a different way than what they've put off, and they're afraid to let people know.
I'm of the opinion if you're a young man, if you're a young man of reproduction age and you like sex, then you want to vote for Harris and not Trump, because otherwise everything's going to be screwed up. You're going to either be forced to have a kid, or if your lady friend has a miscarriage, you're going to be a suspect in what happened to the baby or to the fetus. You know,
I don't think most young men think
that's because they're thinking with this head. If you get them to think with the other head, then they'll see my point of view.
I get it, but I don't,
like 27, 28 years old though. That's
yeah. I don't think you're gonna change the way young men process things, and the little brain is always going to be the more powerful brain until you reach a certain age of maturity. So I don't think
need their friends with guys like that. It'll like friends and peer pressure.
Right, and who's their best friend? Their penis. You get this penis to vote for Harris.
Well, you know what? Here in South Carolina, I've got a family member who is a teacher, and he wants to be an administrator in the school district, and he is afraid of letting people know about his political position. He's a Democrat, because it would hurt his career.
Right.
Now, that to me is almost criminal. He's got a right. He's got a right to express his political views.
That's absolutely true. And here's this point that really needs to be made is Kamala Harris will fight for the people who disagree with her. She will fight for your right to disagree with her. Donald Trump will persecute anybody who disagrees with
Well, he'll try to put you in jail.
Right.
You disagree with him. He'll send the brown shirts after you.
Yeah.
She's like the ACLU. She'll pick up a good fight. She'll take up a fight as long as you're right.
Yeah.
Right. Did you guys hear anything about Iowa?
Yeah, last night. Yeah, I mean that's amazing. Last I heard that Harris was up by 3 points in Iowa.
Right.
In a very reputable poll.
Yeah.
A poll that has been right in the presidential and statewide elections. The only thing that got wrong was like the governor's race.
Do you think? Hey, Bob.
One guy. Let me just finish this round, and then because this will be entertaining, I think. One guy said if she win, I can't remember his name. A famous pundit on the right said if she wins Iowa, he will castrate himself online, and then Twitter went wild. Well, Iowa, you know what to do. I mean, I'll provide the microscope.
I will donate tweezers. I will donate tweezers and an X-Acto knife.
I've made some predictions in my life, but I would never go quite that far. Anyway, I'm sorry.
A razor blade.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying. Do you? I don't know if it'll be a landslide, but I feel that she will actually win by a decent margin, like enough to say, yeah, it's not rigged.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ron. That's what I think too.
All right. Well,
I think the danger. I think the danger is that she wins the popular vote and he wins the electoral college. But I'm seeing some of these key states are beginning to move towards Harris. You know what? I follow a guy that runs a betting site, a political betting site, and he sent me an email yesterday. Last week, all the money was going towards Trump. This week, it's all switched, and the money's going towards Harris in a big way, and to the point where they now have her in the lead among people who are betting on the election.
Wow.
I think that's pretty important.
I do too.
At one point, they were trying to cook the books. They were actually making fake bets so that it would look like Trump was winning. So that at one point, that's the Trump people were doing it, just like Trump was buying fake polls.
Yeah.
So that he could recite the polls, so they were going to the news.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just going to get a hard dose of reality Tuesday night.
But he won't sink in.
He won't. Yeah. But hopefully she can come out there and just be like, "How's my ass taste?" Drop the mic and walk out.
Dude, I'm gonna have all. Dude, I'm gonna have all of the news sites up. I'm gonna have everything going. I'm gonna have the popcorn out. I'm just gonna be watching and waiting. Because man,
I just want to hear Doug Emhoff say, "Screw you guys! I'm going to go bang the president." That's all I want.
I just want to see people come out and go like, "Ass to ass, ass to ass."
That's good.
So I'm rooting for Doug Emhoff. I'm rooting for Dougie.
I think we are in agreement that we feel like it'll be enough. And I
said it's 100% lock that Trump will win the election. Don't go putting words in my mouth.
No, that's what he said.
Yeah. Stop that. I do not like to tempt fate. I don't like to screw with things like that. I don't believe in like reverse psychology or the Easter Bunny. No, I do not. Actually, I do believe in Easter Bunny. I'm just joking.
I was going to say if Trump loses, Bob, do the rats abandon ship on Tuesday night as soon as it's going down?
No, they start saying it was. I know that question was for Bob, but they're going to say it was rigged. No, he didn't lose. Everything's fake. And then that's when they start. No, the cognitive dissonance.
I think
on X. Go ahead, Bob.
I think that the Republican rats that have already abandoned Trump, the ones that are going to, especially when we talk about Liz Cheney and so on, those folks have had courage and they've come out for Harris, recognizing the danger that Trump offers, and that's pretty serious. After the election, will the regular MAGA rats abandon Trump? I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I think they'll go down in flames with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know too many of them too closely.
I'm talking about more of the majority. I mean, yeah, the hardcore people, they're going to go down with the ship because they're morons.
I think
but I'm
so
talking
too.
about more of kind of like the outside, like, oh, we're going to vote this way. But once they see that the ship is sinking and there's really nothing after that he offers to them.
I don't know, because with like the Trump train is already getting this election is stolen train going like full bore. Alex Jones is already posting it, and all of these people who are influencers are already posting this stuff, and all of their people that follow them like religiously are going to follow that. All the regular MAGA people are still following these influencers. They're going to follow that train.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to follow. I think we'll get to see the weasel of JD Vance. I think once the ship starts going down, JD Vance will be like, "Oh, he tried. Now it's all me."
That could be the plan, though.
I could see him being so weaselly and doing that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, who do you guys think? Let's say Trump loses. Let's say he loses. Who then takes up the cudgel for the Republicans?
It's going to be a long haul to rebuild. Hopefully, I've thought a lot about this, about how they start to rebuild. And I don't know that they have anybody who's currently. My thought is, if Trump really loses and we get the results that I think the five of us want, I think the right actually appoints RFK Jr. as their next nominee eventually. I really do.
God.
I think.
Oh my God!
I think they want to keep the conspiratorial nutjobism alive, and he is their. Listen, they were saying JFK Jr. for a long time. They wanted a Kennedy. They wanted a Kennedy to kind of run, and they got one.
Yeah.
I do think, because there's nobody else in the Republican Party that can possibly, at this point, rise to. Some of them are painted with the stink of America's Hitler for the rest of their careers now. So I don't know, but let me ask you this, because we're short on time here, and our next guest is going to arrive in a couple minutes. But I had this idea that. Does a dog ever lie about who his owner is? Could a dog lie about its owner? Like if there was a question of who owns a dog, it's pretty easy to tell who really owns, right?
Yeah.
So they say Trump is not Hitler, but how come the Nazis, the dogs, all know who their who their owner is? They know who their Hitler is. The Nazis are the ones saying Hitler that Trump is Hitler. It's not the people on the far left. It's not it started with the Nazis adopting him. The dog knows who his owner is.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's a case that has to be made to these people. It's like, you stop saying that we appointed him as Hitler. The dogs know they took ownership of their owner. And so why do the Nazis all think he's Hitler? Is the question you need to be asking all the MAGA people right now.
Well, they all ought to be realizing that that's what they're talking about, because that's what this guy wants.
Right.
He really does. So.
Yeah. The other thing, and we'll try to wrap this up if we can. The other day he started coming back to the black jobs thing. The immigrants are coming to take the black job. Now, I think, because maybe it's because of the friends that I have, but except for GD, all the black friends that I have are not in positions where he's thinking of black jobs. I know marketing directors. I know several CEOs. I know production managers. These are not. This is not what Trump is talking about when he says they're coming to take the black jobs. He's saying garbage trucks or whatever he thinks, janitors, whatever he
Menial
thinks.
work. Menial work.
Yeah. So, but the question is, how smart are these fucking immigrants that they can identify the black job to take and not the white? We're only going after the black jobs. I mean, it's like
Matt, they get as soon as they come across the border, they get a list. Okay, I can't believe I have to tell this to you. It's like you come across the border. They say, "I'm seeking asylum. I'm looking to get black jobs." They give them a list of the black jobs they want them to take. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we even have to explain this to you. I mean, and you're running for Congress and you don't know the secret handshake.
Actually,
shame.
I don't think I'm pretty sure I'm not on the ballot, but the FEC keeps sending me forms to fill out about my fundraising stuff. It's very confusing. Yeah. So, Bob, how long do you think before we know the results? I mean, do you have any guesstimate on when we finally can know who won this damn election?
I want to say midnight Tuesday night, but I could be wrong.
I hope you're right. I would. You know what? I thought I was just way too optimistic and thinking 2:30 in the morning Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
But most people are saying it'll be weeks and all this stuff. I
don't think so.
It's weeks before it's official, but they'll have a presumptive winner by probably around. I said between 2 and 3 in the morning. I think they'll have a presumptive winner by that point.
Fuck, I agree with GD. That's bad. That's bad.
Trump will declare victory whether he is ahead or not ahead.
That's true.
Didn't he declare victory months ago?
Yeah, but now he's talking like he's going to lose. He's
yesterday he said
the groundwork for that.
Yesterday he said that they're winning. They're winning in New Jersey.
Well, that's impossible.
I know, but he said that at a rally. He goes, "We're leading in New Jersey. Can you believe that? New Jersey." That's what he does. That's almost a quote.
Yeah. I'm a Pennsylvania native, and it sickens me that actually I'm from Butler, Pennsylvania, where the rally was, where he supposedly was shot.
Do you have an alibi for that day?
Yeah, I was here. I was here working on a podcast.
But you could do that from anywhere, right?
You had that alibi. You had that alibi really quick, man. Are you sure?
Yeah, let me tell you.
I can tell you exactly where I was. I was on a gig, and these guys started texting me. Like,
I was on the roof, but not the right one.
I want to know: do you guys think he was really shot, or do you think?
No, I think it was totally staged.
Was that a setup?
No, that man wasn't shot. If that man was shot, then I got injured running. That's bullshit. That man had no injuries. That man's a fraud.
Absolutely.
That we already knew, but
and you know what? If he set that up some way, then he should be charged with murder because 2 people died.
Yeah.
I think the attempt was real. I think he may have hurt himself getting out of the way. Like maybe, cut himself like ducking or something.
Yeah, I heard a lady who was in the front row. She was interviewed. I don't know why this wasn't picked up more, but she said, no, he wasn't shot. I saw the bullet hit the teleprompter and a piece of glass hit him in the ear.
I don't think that's true. The teleprompter wasn't hit. I do think Donald Trump had enough exposure to wrestling. He's actually been in phony wrestling matches, that he had been with wrestlers that taught him how to cut his own ear with a. Basically, you saw him. He looked at his wrist, which is where you hide the shiv when you're going to cut your ear, and went like this. And then all of a sudden, blood started coming down.
Yeah.
It's called blading. It's called blading in wrestling, and they take the very edge off of a razor blade. They wrap it in tape, and they usually put it in like their wrist wrapping. And basically, they would get hit with a chair or whatever, and they would take it out when they're like, "Oh, ouch, oh," and they'd slice themselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you watch it and you compare that, it's very. And I didn't agree with Matt at first because I thought you were talking like a blood capsule. But when you watch what he did, it very much looks like he was blading. It's
wow.
And then the first thing he does is ask for his shoes, and they stand him up, not knowing if there's another shooter, if that guy, they should stand him up so he can go fight. That is all indicative of evidence.
They jumped on top of Kennedy with the top of his head missing. And you're telling me that Trump was alive and they let him stand up and chant "fight" 3 times and pump his fist in the
the
air?
other part of it is everything in the man's life is staged. Besides that, The Apprentice was all staged. He's a reality TV guy. He comes out waving to non-existent crowds, knowing that people are going to use that footage to make it look like he's waving to a big crowd or something. Everything in his life is phony. The guy is a made-for-television president. And
I don't agree that it was staged. I think the problem is the shooter never fit their narrative, and that's why no one cares, and not enough people care enough that like whether he lived or died, because
Can't say you're wrong,
because
because I mean,
but really, the only reason you don't even really hear about it anymore is because the shooter never fit their narrative. The shooters are always white. They're former Republicans, your typical mass shooter, because that's what white people do. That's, for some reason, when we act out, white dudes, they like to go shoot up crowds for some reason.
Amazing. Yeah.
I wish we could continue this conversation, because I'd rather talk about this than how to. Well, maybe the next book will have something for me, but it's about how to be productive and put aside distractions. I have to admit, I am completely distracted by this election, and although I do kind of agree with Bob that it will probably know a presumptive winner late tomorrow night, I don't think we'll have peace, any sense of real peace, until January 21st or the 20th in the evening, when we know somebody has been inaugurated, and hopefully it'll be the right person.
Yeah, Matt, I agree with that.
Yeah. I appreciate you being here. Listen, if you want, contact me if I'm still alive and haven't had a stroke. Come back and we'll do a recap of this post-election.
Hey, man, I'd love to do that. Thank you.
The book is available at Amazon now. It's called America Hijack Nation, Donald Trump's Attack on America. This is like what is version 2 or a follow-up?
Yeah, it's a sequel to the one that I did in 2020.
Okay.
And,
but the same title?
Bob,
yeah, it's the same title.
Just Bob, on page 9 of IX9, not the digital, not the numeral 9, but that Roman numeral 9.
Yeah.
You say that you said the election of 2026, and you mean the election of 2016. Not that I'm picky or anything like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, do you have to run? Because our guest isn't here. I'm just looking at the clock and seeing it's 1:16. If you want to hang around a little longer, because I
could hang around. Sure, I'm fine.
Yeah. Because you last week with Michael Wolff's 100 hours of Epstein tapes. None of my MAGA friends are even aware of it. There has been a mainstream, not just Fox News or Newsmax, a mainstream media kind of blackout of this story. First of all, do you agree with that they're just not even mentioning it? Because I only know about it from Twitter, and really only from Twitter, not on Facebook, not on any other social media sites, maybe on YouTube, on left-wing pundits, but nobody's talking about that at all. It was so gung-ho, let's release the Epstein client list, and then all of a sudden the list comes out, and the jurors' notes from the Epstein stuff come out, and Trump is all over it. Now we have 100 hours of tape. Epstein saying he was his best friend. He's talking about his meeting with Melania, with young girls and naked girls on his lap and all that stuff. Then nobody even knows about it. If I bring it up, they're like, "What are you talking about? That's made up stuff. What's the source?"
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't understand why it hasn't gotten more press. I really don't.
Right. Not even CNN, MSNBC, none of it.
No, they allude to it in a kind of weekly, but they don't go into it at all, and they don't talk about the details.
Do you think it's because they think it won't make a difference? They know what Trump is anyway. They always knew he was a pervert, and pedophilia on that level, not a deal breaker.
I have no freaking idea.
I mean, it's baffling to me that every time they hear about it only from me, they haven't heard about it. and like, wow, what kind of vacuum are you living in that you're not even hearing about this stuff? And the jurors' notes that came out with all the stuff, it's just like, it's absolutely. If this was Bill Clinton, they would have heard about it.
Right.
And it comes down to, if you know all this stuff, and now he was having these conversations with Michael Wolff in 2017. Trump was already in the White House when he was having these conversations. If it comes down to the conspiracy theory, which is not really a far-fetched conspiracy theory, is in my mind, that Epstein did not kill himself. Who is more likely to have done the murder? Bill Barr, who was running the holding cell where he was, who was Trump's handpicked attorney general to follow Sessions, or Hillary Clinton, because they were quick to say it was Hillary Clinton because Bill's name's going to be all over the list. Turns out Trump's all over the list. Now, I hate to feed the conspiracy, but it sure sounds like if it was a murder, the more likely suspect would have been the president of the United States, who was most implicated in all this stuff. Any comment on that?
Oh, well, that's hard to imagine, but it you might have something there. I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't.
He's out
either.
to save his own skin at all costs. That's the only reason why he's running for this election.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
To keep himself out of jail.
Right. So, lastly, with the November 18th sentencing, let's say he wins. Does he even show up for his sentencing, or just says, fuck you, I'm above the law? Even though he's not president yet, he's president-elect in that case. He just says, fuck you, I'm just going to pardon myself anyway. Why would I even bother? Come and get me. Yeah. And how ugly would that be, that they have to send U.S. Marshals to go get him?
You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. People aren't talking about that right now. They're not thinking about the fact that sentencing is coming up.
Yeah.
What, 2 weeks after the election?
November 18th. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it on my calendar.
Yeah.
But so there's two possible things there. He loses and he gets, and then he might run. I think he might actually flee. And these guys, well, how could he do that? I mean, you have to fly up flight plans and all this stuff. He can find a way.
I feel like he's.
What's the date of the sentencing?
Possibility.
Did you say November 19th?
18th.
18th. Oh, okay. That's okay.
That's a Monday.
Yeah. I was looking at my calendar. I didn't think it was the 19th.
Yeah, I just put it on my calendar, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already a holiday on my calendar. It's
So really, I mean, what the consensus here? I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think if let's start worst case scenario, he wins, he's president-elect, and he has to show up for sentencing. Does he even show up? Does he threaten him to, or say, come get me, have the marshals come and get me? And does that provoke like violence? And does Merchan even have the balls to sentence a president-elect to jail time?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's because, I mean, if you think about it, let's say she does it and then it falls through. It's career suicide, right? On top of, and then
Merchan is on the top of the hit list anyway. The enemies list he's taken into.
So that's what I'm saying. So then the regular hit list, it'll be on for sure. Top of the list. But then, I don't know. That whole situation's gonna be sketchy. I don't know.
Well, look,
that's messy.
He has to do jail time. The 18th is Mexican Revolution Day.
Well, what if they just? That's hilarious.
I could have sworn it was Cinco de Mayo, but okay.
What if they just tell him he has to do jail time until inauguration?
But if he loses, no.
Well, we're not there yet. We're talking about.
We're saying if he wins. We didn't get to the part if he loses yet. If he wins, president-elect, will Merchan have the gonads to sentence him in the first place? Does he even show up, or does he say, send the marshals to get me, and we'll have the Proud Boys deal with it? All that kind of nonsense.
The Proud Boys.
I say he doesn't show up.
Well, I think you're right. I think that's
Yeah, that's probably
I think
the
he'll
best.
say,
That's probably what's gonna
I'll say,
happen.
screw you guys. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to pardon myself anyway. So
Yeah.
screw you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Come and get me.
that's
Go
right.
ahead.
Now,
Yeah.
if he loses, that's
He
a
can't
whole
pardon
other thing.
himself. That's a state crime. Only the governor of New York can pardon him for that one.
That's right.
That seems legally correct.
Yeah.
But I don't put anything past our system at this point. Well,
it was the attempt to move it to federal court where he could have pardoned himself had he been president was failed. It already went to the Supreme Court, and they couldn't find any grounds to move it to federal court. So it remained in the state court. So unless there's some other loophole,
there is another
you can't
loophole.
do it because
I think you're forgetting the Supreme Court decision that gave him complete.
There's already a verdict, though. There's already a verdict. You can't move it now. There's already a verdict.
No, but he can do whatever he wants as long as he deems it in the best interest of the country. He can basically, according to the Supreme Court decision, say, I'm overruling the New York State in this because it's my prerogative as president. I'm immune from any prosecution.
He's only immune to things that are actually his job. That is not his job. He has no jurisdiction over state legislation.
If what he is doing is in the best interest of the United States of America, he can do anything. That's what.
No, then it's presumptive, and you can be challenged. It can be challenged. So it can be challenged. So no, excuse me.
By.
In this case, it will be the people of New York or the state of New York because it's
bringing it to what court?
Well, it'll start in state court because that's where it is.
No. If it's New York State against the president of the United States, it goes to.
I hear it first.
No, the Supreme Court. It goes to the Supreme Court.
It doesn't go to the Supreme Court. It has to work its way up. It's not going to make it there. I'm telling you, it's not going to make it there. And first of all, he's not going to win. Okay, he's not going to win. He's going to lose about 35, 40 states, and Kamala Harris is going to win by a larger electoral count than Biden did. Plain and simple.
I hope you're right, GD. I hope you're right, pal.
I think this is a good time to remind people our sponsor, Mind Bloom Ketamine Therapy, is apparently GD is on it now.
Look, I got it on good authority. Let's wait a second.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We didn't have a pause for the news. Should we do that or no?
No, we're gonna we'll let Bob go now. Put him out of his misery with this nonsense.
Will Kamala Harris win the 2024 presidential election?
Don't do it.
Most definitely. There you go. You have it right there.
If that would have been a bad answer, then you would have fucked it all up, GD.
We're doomed. First of all, I'm more of a cue ball kind of guy, if you haven't noticed, than an 8-ball.
That was good.
Yeah. Anyway, Bob, thank you for giving me more to stress about here. But let's say if it turns out the way you want it to, please come back. If it turns out the other way, I'm not going to be here for you to come back. You can welcome to come back, but I won't be here. Good luck with the book. The links are in the description. If you get to the first edition of Hijack Nation, there's a link to it to the second edition there on the Amazon stuff. Right. I'll find the right links and put it in there. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Bob Gaddy, folks, and the book is called Hijack Nation, and everybody's in the wrong place. Everybody is in the wrong place, even me.
No, now you have me in the wrong place. There you go.
But no, there you go. Do you want to hear news? Because the news is like.
I mean, no, I never want to hear the news, but I mean,
the news.
If you think we have to, we should. But if not, then.
No, we don't have to do anything anymore. Nothing is important anymore. Everything is.
So is there any way this plays out where, let's say Trump wins, right? But then he gets convicted. Is there any way before he's inaugurated that he somehow gets bumped and they just inaugurate JD Vance instead?
Yeah.
because that sounds like an equally really bad, awful outcome, and that scares me almost as much.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't. Here's the thing. I started thinking about it last night. I didn't fall asleep till almost 4 a.m. And I feel like I'm probably not going to sleep well tonight thinking about it. And this whole thing, I just really hope Kamala just pulls it out, like just a massive win, and we just don't have to worry about it. That would be great.
I think she does, just on the basis of people are sick and tired of hearing about this old fucking codger. They're just sick of it.
There has to be that. I also, and part of me being a history guy, I really like history. Part of me really hopes that people are like, hey, let's all be part of history and elect the first woman president, you know? Like, let's be part of that history for a change instead of all the bullshit we've with. Like, you know, like let's celebrate something.
I think I'm hearing a lot of wishful thinking rather than reality based.
No, because I feel like I do feel like Kamala has a really good chance, because I saw a lot of Kamala signs out while I was out and about. They just weren't as big and flashy as the Trump signs, but they were still out there.
And she doesn't have. And I'm sorry, I was going to say, and she doesn't have the hate that Clinton had against her.
Yeah, I just feel like everyone's so tired of the bullshit and the hate and all of that. And and Kamala, like, granted, she's taking some jabs at Trump, but she's not really taking the hate train. She's not necessarily.
I'm seeing lots of hate for her.
Well,
I don't
there's
know.
a lot of clips out there because she's made her jab.
No, I'm seeing it I live, and not just live in Trump country. I'm friends with a lot of Trumpers. They hate her. I've heard her call, and this is where it doesn't get, like, she's totally evil, and she they have her, everything is bizarre. They have her as the Antichrist and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, basing on what's evil about wanting to give everybody health care? What's evil about wanting to give home buyers a $25,000 head start? What's evil about having to give new businesses a head start and resources to fund their own? What's evil about that? There's nothing that she has campaigned on that sounds like retribution or evil against her enemies. But they use that. She's an idiot and she's evil. It's like both of those are just not reality based. First of all, the not smart thing. Go ahead. What?
Did you see where Walsh called Elon a gay guy in Michigan?
No.
He was on stage and he was talking about Elon. He goes, "Elon, that gay guy," and he stopped and paused, looked around, and went, "Well, you guys know that word." And I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like, what the fuck?
I don't think that's a great tactic to go, especially.
I don't think he said gay guy. I think he said guy. You know.
No, he said gay guy. It was hilarious. No, it was so funny. It was so funny.
All that's going to do is turn off gay people to the ticket. I don't know.
I mean, I think you look at JD Vance, that turns off gay people. I mean, even they look at it like, ugh, this is doing no one.
Here's the thing. As I say, yeah, Ian, exactly. Like, people my age, like, no, that dude's gay. Like, that's funny. Like, I don't know. It's definitely 90s, like, classroom haha, but I don't know. It's just the way it came off. It happened. It was just super funny. It looked like an SNL skit is what it looked like. It was just, yeah.
The SNL thing, good thing bringing that up. I didn't see any of the SNL. She showed up so it was a secret appearance on SNL that they kept secret up until the last minute. She just showed up on SNL. People are saying that violates the equal time laws, where basically it's like the network is putting out or endorsing her without giving Trump equal time on that stuff. Ridiculous or not?
Well, that is ridiculous, because he spent 3 hours with Joe Rogan and he couldn't move the needle at all. No one gave a shit except for his circle.
Yeah, and not just that, but he's been on SNL a few times anyway. So it's not like he hasn't been on there. And let's be real, a lot of his appearances have been memorable, for various reasons. So I mean,
the accusations are not against Kamala Harris. It's against NBC for the intent of giving one person a platform and the other, which violates the equal time laws.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they do so much crying. No one probably heard about it anyway.
Weren't the equal time laws done away with by Clinton under that 1996 thing?
The Telecommunications Act? No.
Oh, okay.
But I do think I'm not saying that I agree with them. I'm saying they have a platform, another platform for rebuking this stuff, more lawsuits, more recounts, more nonsense, more shenanigans to challenge an outcome based on that. I don't think it was smart to do that. I don't think it changed anybody's mind for her. Like, people were going to vote for her, are going to vote for her. The fact that she went on SNL to give them more fire for their lawsuits and other, I think that's a misplay.
And all they had to do was invite Trump. That's all they had to do was invite him. He didn't accept. So if they invited him and he turned it down, they're in the clear.
Right.
All he has to do is lose on Tuesday, and then the house of cards will start to crumble.
Let's everybody. Well, I don't know. Stephen might be the least Pollyanna guy. Just wishful thinking. I really feel like you're purposely trying to look at this thing with rose-colored glasses.
Well,
rosemary colored.
I am in your boat when it comes to the opposite mindset thing. Because as a kid, it always seemed to work out. If I was like, oh, I'm never going to get this, or that's never going to happen, it would happen. But if I got my hopes up, it would never happen. So I'm kind of in that same boat, but I'm to the point where I'm just so tired of living through like really bad historical key events that I'd really like to just see someone not fucking insane, I guess, be president for a while.
Ian, just as a note, Kamala Harris actually technically did not snub Joe Rogan. Okay, Joe Rogan wanted her to come to Texas and have a 3-hour interview in the middle of a campaign.
Aware of that. You don't have to explain that to him. He's making the point that Red Band, and you probably don't even know who Red Band is, do you?
He makes sunglasses.
Boom,
he makes Red Band sunglasses.
No, Red Band is the soundboard guy, the DJ, the
hey. DJ. No, that's Red Man. No, Red. I'm sorry. No, Brian Redband is Joe Rogan's
bitch.
Yeah, basically. He was his video guy before he became his podcast co-host guy in the original days. And Rogan, he was the early day Jamie, and he used to beat and like humiliate Redman on air, like you call him stupid and like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't talk. You're not here to talk.
Well, now Tony Hinchcliffe does that to him on Kill Tony regularly.
Oh, but not as mean as Rogan. But Rogan made him rich. Redman made him rich. He was never a talented guy to begin with, so he's become a multimillionaire because of Rogan. So his lawyer, he's like butt kisser forever, and that's where it comes down to. But yeah, Brian Redman is the least accomplished multimillionaire in the history of multimillionaires.
Why? Why is he a million? I don't. Where's he? Why?
He founded Rogan's podcast with him. Rogan gave him big money when they parted ways, and then the Kill Tony stuff, which is an integral part of the technical end of it. But he wants to be a comedian, but he's the least talented, non-talent, just happened to be in the right place at the right time, multimillionaire. So
that's part of the other reason why I want Trump to lose too, because I feel like if he loses, I feel that does actually shake up the world of comedy. I feel like Austin right now is a snow globe, that everything is sitting at the bottom and everything is hinging on Tuesday. And I can see like Tuesday, especially if he loses Pennsylvania, which would be magnificent. And then Tony Hinchcliffe will be out on that island by himself. And all of a sudden you will see.
Now, come back to the idea of wishful thinking. Almost all the, and thank you, I agree. I think, you know what? I do think she'll win Pennsylvania. Just let me, I shouldn't have said that. I think Trump is a 100% lock to win Pennsylvania.
Oh, I felt that in my heart when you said that too.
But the left pundits with their predictions now all have Harris winning Georgia, and I'm like, are you fucking into Georgia and sometimes North Carolina? Like, are you fucking insane? One of them even had him win in Texas. It's like you're just going too far. You're fantasizing here, and that doesn't help.
Some of that is internal data because you can see how like you can see the cracks in his campaign because all of a sudden when states don't really go his way. That's when he starts coming out with everything is rigged. Everything is rigged. That's why there's a strong belief that he's very shaky in PA. He's very shaky in PA. And you go to these other states, then he's like, oh, he starts crying like a little baby.
Right.
And also, the campaign starts spending money in places that they didn't used to spend money in. So I believe that. I also believe that she'll get Georgia. I'm not certain about North Carolina, and I'm doubtful about Texas. I would love for her to get Texas. And even if she doesn't get Texas, I would at least love for Ted Cruz to lose. I would love for Allred to win the Senate in Texas, even if she doesn't win Texas itself. I mean, that would be nice icing, and I think I would shit my pants if she won Florida.
Okay. I do have some showbiz if you want to take a break.
Yeah, well, let's get to that in just 1 second. I just want to say, and thank God you have show business today. By the way, I'm not going to say anything about it because it's probably in your stories. Tomorrow we have a guest scheduled. Now, I have not voted yet, and I plan on voting right after the program tomorrow. But we have a guest, which is it's going to be weird because of all the shit that tomorrow represents and all the anxiety. It's like a pimple ready to pop day. Sophia Torini is a transformational catalyst in the realm of personal health and well-being, a unique blend of expertise in certified clinical EFT practitioner and a specialist in hacking reality is going to be the guest tomorrow. It's going to be very hard for me.
Really? Who's certified? Who's certified?
Probably the same person who certified your forensic humorist degree.
No.
How are we going to focus on that?
I have my credentials.
It's going to be certify me as just certifiably insane, but it's going to be extremely hard for me to have any kind of conversation that is not about.
You know what? We should, for any man that's listening to this, if you claim to be a man, you want her to win tomorrow night. Do you know why you want her to win tomorrow night, fellas?
So that you will accept me into manhood?
No, because all the ladies will be DTF if she wins, down to fuck. And that's what men want.
Oh,
women that fuck. Down to fuck.
Man. And if she wins,
remind me of something.
It should if she wins, it should smell like a goddamn fish market in your house the rest of the
goddamn right, yeah, boy.
Hey, when people walk into your house, they're gonna be like, "Is this fish or sex?"
All right.
Also, if she wins, Gretchen Whitmer will be the next female president after that.
Hell yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey.
Kamala will do her 8 years. Kamala will do her 8 years, and Gretchen Whitmer will take over after that.
Matt, do you have a show scheduled tomorrow night?
No.
We should do like election coverage.
Why? Me? You want to watch me have a stroke?
Because here's the thing. I think we need a distraction, so we're not just sitting there having heart attacks watching the screen. We can converse about it. We can, because here's the thing. It's either going to make or break the country. Why not live stream it?
Fine. If you want to do that, I'll do that. I'll hold your hand, and you guys and the other two guys are welcome to come along if they want to watch me have a stroke live. I'm down with it.
I just want to see if you're going to castrate yourself. That's all I.
No, I'm not. The Iowa thing. I'll find out because I did share that. I'll find out that guy's name, and we will put a good watch on him. You know what? It's almost all I care about now is Iowa, just to see this guy cut his own balls off on Twitter live. I have to share this with you, but I have to say it real quiet. I have to say it real. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. On Saturday, I was working here, and there was a knock on the door, and I looked out, and there's an attractive young lady on my front step, and with her dog. I recognize this dog. The dog has caused some havoc in the neighborhood recently. But so I went to the door, like, what is this woman doing on my doorstep? And she, attractive young lady. Speaking of Ron's down to fuck. She said, "Is your wife home?" And before I could say, "No, my wife passed away years ago. I'm just a lonely old man desperate for companionship in my dying days," my wife came out of the side room. "Oh, hi." My wife knew her. Apparently, she's the owner of the chickens. And, "Oh, you've been feeding my chickens. I just came to bring you some chicken food and some eggs." But the problem is now this hot smoking young thing is the owner of the chickens, but she's friends with my wife. My wife.
That's hilarious.
So the chickens really did have a place to go to.
No,
so
they
did.
did.
She find out?
No, my wife just became friends with her as she came to the door
Matt,
and gave us
just
eggs.
consider this. You figured out where the chickens roost. Now they don't have to come home to roost for you. You know what I'm saying? So
I got eggs out of it, but I have not eaten the eggs. Say you have to wash the shells off before you break the shells.
well, yeah, you don't want to get salmonella and like chicken veggie juice.
Yeah, I get it, but you know, it's just like I thought the shell was the protective part of it anyway. But no, I will.
Protects it from the inside. It doesn't protect your hands, and maybe she's already washed them if she's delivered them.
I get it now, but here's my thing: is like I've been talking about wanting these eggs, but now I'm scared to eat the eggs. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, oh, yeah, big talk. Well, or when you don't have the eggs, that's all I want. I want these chickens to pay back for all the fucking food we've given them. Now we have eggs from these chickens, and I'm like,
how many eggs?
Dozen.
2 dozen?
Dozen.
1 dozen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
You would eat them?
I've done it before, sure. Not yours. Others that I was given. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't need to be pasteurized or anything like that.
No,
dude, I've had eggs from several animals. As long as you clean them off, you're.
Wait a minute. From several animal lizard eggs. What are you talking about?
I've had ostrich egg. I've had emu egg, and I've had alligator egg.
And you can't walk. See.
Yep.
I'm not taking that chance. I like my legs.
Yeah, but you're old enough you were drinking milk before they even had the pasteurization process, and you turned out okay.
You know,
no, he didn't.
I absolutely did not turn out okay. Why are you spreading misinformation on this program? All right, now I'm looking for a button. You know what? I got a button. Oh, Stephen.
If I had to, I would. But I have had possum, raccoon, and armadillo and squirrel all in the same stew. So
you're a freak.
No, I grew up in Alabama.
No,
I'm a
he's
redneck.
All you have to say is freak. It covers all that.
No.
And now, bringing you the latest in entertainment news from Hollywood, New York, and East Bumfuck, Montana. Here's our chief entertainment correspondent, Ron Kane.
Or is he also
ladies and
known
gentlemen, it's Showbiz.
Showbiz. What's his name? Roddy Roadstreamer or Roddy Roadstreamer? Oh,
ew!
It's Showbiz, everybody. Yeah, that's a great.
Is that touched up? Is that just the way he?
That's just the
Trump
way.
in 4K.
Yep, that's how this old queen looks. So he's trying.
Wow. For people on the radio side, we were looking at a picture of my ass. Yes.
So this is Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones passed away at the age of 91, surprising everybody. We thought he at least had another 20 years left in him, but apparently not.
111.
Well, you know what did
I
him
don't know.
in? He was surrounded by friends and family. That's how
Yeah.
they all die.
Yep.
But at one point, there was stories about him having he had 22 girlfriends at once. God bless this man for doing that. He is a national treasure for having that much pussy on call, on demand all the time. So
Peggy Lipton is now available. She's still gorgeous, or she's old and dusty.
She's a teabag.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones once said the Beatles were the worst musicians in the world, which, listen, even if they were not up to the jazz greats that he worked with, that's a way overstatement. I mean, he's never seen G.D. Fenderson play.
That's
or
true. That's true.
Yeah, but he also cracked the sky. So.
Right.
And I never really claimed to be a musician. I'm a guy who plays guitar.
A certified song maker or something, or whatever. Yeah, you work your way around labels, but let's face it.
Yeah,
I admit I'm bad.
Yeah, he had a pretty staggering career. He was involved in Michael Jackson's career, producing shit for him. So
Frank Sinatra,
Lionel Hampton,
lots of film scores.
Yeah,
Austin Powers again.
Ritz.
Yeah, and he was best known for banging the Mod Squad Julie. So there you go, and marrying her, by the way.
There she is, and this is how she looks now.
Yeah, so I'm going to Klum. This is Heidi Klum or her husband in a Halloween costume from last week. Last Thursday was Halloween, so she come out. Her and her husband come out dressed as ETs.
Wow, wow.
Does that mouth work? What'd that mouth do?
Well, it's creepy. If you look where the neck is, you can see the face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I asked. What'd that mouth do?
So it's so bizarre.
Now, is it Klum or Klum? I've never. It's Klum, right?
Klum, yeah.
How would you know that if she didn't pronounce it for you? I mean, because it looks like a Klum. I don't know. What difference does it make?
That's why
Just take the L out.
All right, so this is Olivia Rodrigo, and for Matt and GD, she's actually a relevant pop star from this year of 2024.
Yeah, she fell in the hole, right?
I knew she was. I was looking to see if I could see anything in that cleavage there.
So she was talking about dating, and she said a big red flag for her is if a guy says, "I want to go to space." She says that is a red flag for her because of I fucking forget what it was so ridiculous. But if you want to go to space, she won't date you. She feels like you have your head in the clouds.
She's not going to date Elon Musk. She's not going to date Sir Branson. She's not going to date who's the Amazon? Is that Blue Origin?
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
Bezos. So they're out there. She's not dating any of them.
No. So she's out there, fellas. If you want to try and date her, this past weekend on SNL, John Mulaney was the host. If you have not seen the episode, I would recommend it. It's pretty solid from beginning to end, and I think because that's Mulaney's on there, so everyone stepped up their game writing wise. There is a fucking great short about Beppo the monkey that is so fucking funny. So if you're looking for some good comedy, SNL from this past weekend was solid overall. But Pete Davidson made a guest appearance, and you can see the picture on the left is old Pete. Picture on the right is with a lot of his tattoos that now have been removed, because for the past couple years he's been having all his tattoos removed.
Let me just ask, do we know that for a fact that those weren't sleeves? You know, they have those sleeves that look like real tattoos.
No, they weren't sleeves, but he had that would be hilarious if they were fucking Hot Topic sleeves.
Yeah.
He's pulling the hottest puss in Hollywood, and he's fucking got slide on tattoo sleeves.
I don't know. I've seen them. They look. I've seen guys wearing them, and I thought they were real.
Dude, you know what though? Good for him, man, because he's got some serious mental problems, and he had tattoos from his ex-girlfriends that kept fucking him up. The dude was a mess. So good for him.
I'll tell you what.
You.
The face on the right looks like a more stable person. The guy on the left looks like, you know what? Let's walk on the other side of the street.
Yeah, lots of drugs.
The guy on the right seems like he's a nice guy.
Yeah, but the guy on the right won't be pulling as much poo-tang as the one on the left did, because he doesn't look dangerous now.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
So this is Andrew Santino, and his next special is going to Hulu as well, as part of Hilarious. I don't have a time frame on this, but so Hulu has now signed another pretty well-known comic to drop another.
Pretty well-known comic, you say? Pretty well-known comic, you say? I guarantee you, if I poll my friends and neighbors and people on my 5,000 people on my Facebook page, none of them will have heard of Andrew Santino. What I know of him, the only thing I know about him is from Comedy Store documentaries or Bobby Lee, his thing with what is it, Tiger Lily or whatever that stupid.
Well, they also have Bad Friends.
Yeah, Bad Friends.
So, but I mean, I've never seen him advertised as performing in New York ever. It's just like, because there's this thing about comedy where you could be among comedians very well known, or hardcore comedy fans somewhat well known, and the general public in the United States of America never heard of you. And I can name 100 comedians that fit that.
Yeah.
But as well, this guy has several Netflix specials and whatever, so he's still doing better than all of us.
Is he any good? Even Evil Ian says he sucks.
Yeah,
I mean listen, he's. Go ahead.
I was just probably going to say the same thing you were going to say, Steve. I mean, it's not like he's not funny. He's a funny guy, and he actually shows up in more acting roles too.
Does he own part of the Comedy Store? Is he a manager there?
No, I think he's just a regular there, like Bobby Lee and the rest of them. He's definitely
in Binder's film. He's in that film thing he did for series he did for Showtime. He's talking like he's got stock in it, like he's part of the ownership there.
I just think he's super invested, honestly. Right. But he's very much an acquired. He's. I don't want to call him Bill Burr light, but he's very much abrasive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think he's funny. I enjoy him. Anyways.
I've never seen him do anything but the Bobby Lee stuff when it comes to comedy. And that's really hard to judge a comedian on a podcast talking with your best friend like that.
Well, his last special was on Netflix like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it's called Cheeseburger. So that is out there.
I'll check it out, I guess, if I need therapy. And I do need therapy.
This is Cliffhanger. Apparently, Cliffhanger, the 1993 Sylvester Stallone movie, is being remade.
Oh my God. Why?
Yeah. I mean, the first movie, honestly, it wasn't even that great. I'm not a big fan of Stallone to begin with. I think his movies are really not great, except for Demolition Man. I do love Demolition Man. But that's mainly because of Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes makes that movie. So if you're interested,
Wes.